Hello my friends and welcome back. New Monday, new week, new opportunities. Happy Monday. We begin today with an insane video of Russian Freedom Legion, which are Russians fighting for the armed forces of Ukraine under their own unit. They're infamous for their fights against behind enemy lines, doing sabotage raids and fighting on the Russian territory. This video came to us now, but it happened in December 2025, so it was a little Christmas present for the Russians right next to the Kharkiv region. Russian Freedom Legion penetrated 7 kilometers behind enemy lines and they destroyed a field ammo depot and all the personnel with it. Let's watch the video. This is some true special forces stuff. See, they're wearing winter camo, they're walking in these woods. It's pretty dull and boring until you get that this is them walking into the Russian Federation over the border, finding the field ammo depot. Here's the location. Golubivka. And I'm not sure how much I can show you of the aftermath. Now here is the aftermath. It's all blurred, okay, but there are good Russians in this video, very good Russians. And they're still in their bunk beds. So they were in their bunk beds and now they're good Russians still in the bunk beds. If you know, you know. And all of the ammunition that the Sabotage Legion found is now taped together into one column. Obviously, this will be blown to smithereens, blown to bits. But this is true special forces stuff and it's happening right now and it's crazy. You would thought you don't see this kind of stuff anymore 4 years into the war, but you do. For the second video to start your new week with and start the February of 2026, this is a Russian soldier who fled from a Russian position. Russians are really punishing their men really harshly if they leave positions or if they're fleeing battlefields. So in this specific instance, they chose to tie him up and to beat him with a dildo. Why are you running, you bastard? Why are you running? And he's beating him with a dildo. I mean, does every Russian brigade have this order once a year, their usual dildo order? You know, it's the biggest dildo companies in the world getting their regular shipments to Russian brigades, so it's their annual dildo order. They use it for punishment or something. I don't know. I have no answers for you, but this is what they do, and it's not the first instance that I've seen it, that I've seen them do it. So they do really like their dildos. And for the third video, we again watch from the Russian army. They got new toys, ATVs. But if you go through a puddle too fast, a little bit too fast on occupied territory, you do a little circus trick like that. Roll over. Yeah. They get these new Chinese ATVs and they don't really train with them or practice with them. They immediately go on an assault, full throttle, happens what happens, and this happens, of course. Now they're food for the Ukrainian drones. They managed to get it upright again, but the drones will be here any second. Are you a prepper? Are you ready for the apocalypse? I know I'm not, but that is going to change. This is the 4 Illustrated Survival Guide. This bold, hilarious, and serious book takes you through 4 wild apocalypse scenarios: a pandemic, zombie outbreak, nuclear winter, and global warming. This book contains more tutorials and information than I ever studied in any school throughout all my life. It is hardcover, or should I say extremely hardcover, and insanely well illustrated. Hey, my daughter is going to read this book as soon as she can read. If I won't make it through the 4 apocalypses, she will, thanks to the 4. Let me read you only some of the titles of the chapters and let's see if you are familiar with the topics. Sailing knots, raft, kayak, boat, amphibious, car, fishing, lobster trap, fish trap, harpoons, fishing rods, fishing lures and baits, float ledger rig, net, net fishing, cleaning a fish, fishing chair, essential fishing gear, housekeeping, compost bin, hydroponic farm, farming, greenhouse, canning, root cellar, dehydrating meat and fish, solar oven, biogas. Chapter 4, Zombies. hand-to-hand combat, defensive techniques, punching technique, elbow strikes, front kicks, knee strikes, security and signal traps, lookout tower, private house fortress, underground shelter, trenches, structure of a fortified camp. And these are only titles of the chapters. If you have a curious mind, I know I do, then this is food for your mind, food for your thoughts. It's so cool to sometimes open the 4 from a random place. Let's do it now, just a random place. Let's see what comes up. Multivitamin plants. Alright, another one. Armored vests. And the final one, housekeeping. What the hell? Besides containing useful knowledge even before the world ends, it also looks insanely cool on any bookshelf or coffee table. Yes, this is definitely a collectible book, provoking anyone's curiosity who glimpses it. Simply unignorable book. If you find your curious side intrigued, go get the 4 Illustrated Survival Guide from the link in the description below and use the code Artur4book during checkout. Thank you, the 4, for sponsoring today's video. During the weekend, I was watching through the footage of Ukrainian drones hitting Russian occupiers, and you always see these final moments before the screen freezes and you know it went kaboom. Well, we got 2 legendary final moments, as the Ukrainians call it, the yobluk of the day. One of them tries to use a stone against the Ukrainian drone. This is a very primitive tactic. Even apes were using it 1 million years ago. The species before Homo sapiens, I'm guessing Neanderthals were using these stones like that. So this is an primitive ape soldier fielding a stone against a drone. Right next to it, we get a modern Russian soldier with a winter camo, a weapon, an automatic assault rifle, boots and everything, but he chooses to use his Jedi sword, a stick, against the drone. These final moments always show you what decisions they make. Also, we got a lot new videos again of what we can call Donetsk penguins. This is what they look like. Many new drone videos of Ukrainian drones making good Russians out of these Donetsk penguins. And this is what it is. It's like an anti-drone, anti-heat camera poncho that Russians are buying from Temu or reselling from Temu in this Russian marketplace. Their wives actually do buy this and send it to the front to them, and they wear it and they look like lost penguins. It's crazy. And we got many videos about this. Now this next footage I'm showing you, this is 4 years old. It comes from 24th of February 2022. Let's watch it before I show you what it actually is. It looks really awesome. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 choppers flying over a frozen water body. We got 5th chopper back here. Do we get the 6th one? No. They do look like, let me guess if I can take which choppers. Do I get a KA-52 alligator? No, I don't actually. But these are the choppers flying to Hostomel, next to Kiev, about 30 kilometers from Kiev right now, flying to Hostomel. First hours of the war. This is the Ukrainian man filming these very same choppers. See, the previous video we just watched, this was released like a few days ago. This video now that the man is filming, this is what I saw in 24th of February 2022, and it was a shocker. That's what everybody has seen. He is reading how many choppers there are. 16 already. 17 choppers. And one of them is shot down right beneath our eyes. Yes, this Ukraine also really happy. I remember myself being really happy seeing this kaboom. Majority of them landed on the Donetsk, Hostomel airport, and 24 hours later, majority of these guys were good Russians. But yeah, this part we watched was released right now, it's new, and this is what we saw 4 years ago. So yeah, I'm glad to see this part. It looks really nice and Hollywoody, but if you know what it really is, then yeah, 24 hours later, all of these choppers, all of these men were turned into manure for Hostomel airport grass areas, I guess. So now we're talking about Cuba. and the United States. Why is it important? Well, because one of the biggest Russian military bloggers, Rybar, posted this photo. This is a Russian Shahed or Keran drone reach from Cuba, Havana, to Florida and the United States coastline, as you can see it from here. It's very much connected to Russia because Cuba is supported by Venezuela and Russia. But ever since Trump made his shenanigans with Maduro and Venezuela, Venezuela is no longer supporting Cuba, because they have this interim government, and United States has issued a fuel embargo, fuel blockage to Cuba, and Cuba is running through very hard times. So now Rybar is playing around with the idea of, okay, let's send a lot of Geran drones or Shahed drones to Cuba, and then all of these targets, he lists these targets are in the Shahed drone reach: Corpus Christi, Baytown, Texas City, Galveston, Beaumont, Sweeney Phillips, Port Arthur, Lake Charles, Baton Rouge, Garyville. Also, he puts Mar-a-Lago, Trump's residence, on this map, which I think it would be an okay target. Well, this, it should activate millions of Americans to this post who live in this range. Ukrainians are living with this every day. They get Shahed drones every day. Cuba is a country who would really welcome these Geran drones because they are very, very much anti-American. And right now Trump is going to sit down with the administration, with Cuba's leadership, and they're going to talk it over. It's going to happen today, actually. But this photo really riles up some Russians who are really happy to see this, and it should wake up a lot of Americans to this. Americans do have a lot they have not done yet. The administration has not done everything they can against Russia. The sanctions issued in 2025 fall against two Russian biggest oil export companies have really hit hard. They have had a big effect. Lukoil, for example, has been forced to sell a lot of their foreign assets, foreign refineries or oil silos to the local countries where they are. In Iraq, like in Moldova, in Transnistria. Also, it has forced Russia to use even more shadow fleet tankers. For example, here is a map of what is 2nd of February. At the current moment of when it was made, all the stateless tankers, meaning tankers without insurance and country's flag, in the European waters or close to it. These are all of the tankers under United States sanctions and European sanctions that these countries could seize. We haven't done it. See, Estonia has a few of them here. We have one near Latvia, in the Polish and German territorial waters, in the Danish Strait. A lot of them go through the English Channel. That is the France and English responsibility. I'm telling, there's a lot we haven't done. There's a lot the United States hasn't done. There's a lot we haven't done in Europe. All of these tankers are stateless. They are illegal. They are sanctioned. And European countries have the right to seize them, detain them, and prosecute the crew. I think we should do it. I'm waiting really anxiously for this to happen. But now, did you know that Russians rely heavily on Starlink? With their recon drones, with their attack drones, also with their internet on the front lines. Well, this is about to change. Ever since the new defense minister was appointed to Ukraine, things have started to change. Mikhail Fedorov has better relationships with Elon Musk than his predecessors. Elon Musk, of course, owns Starlink, and Russians and Ukrainians both very heavily rely on Starlink for almost every connectivity on the front, drones and internet. Now, Mikhailov finally raises that issue with Elon, and Elon actually answers to him. Elon says, looks like the steps we took to stop the unauthorized use of Starlink by Russia have worked. Let us know if more needs to be done. And Mikhail Fedorov goes to be very friendly to him on this post. And of course they need to, because Starlink is a major player in this war for both sides. And for now, it seems like Elon has taken steps to switch it off for the Russians and leave it on for the Ukrainians, which is a very wow news. Indications: the 90 km/h fix is only part of the largest set of tools to prevent Russia from using Starlink. So the first thing they did is that every drone using Starlink over Ukraine, Ukrainian and Russian drones, they will switch off their Starlink connection if they cross 90 kilometers per hour. So if they fly faster, Starlink will just switch off for them. It's, you know, a general weapon hitting Ukrainian drones also, but it hurts Russians more. And this is only step number one. Now what they do is they require every Ukrainian brigade to register their Starlinks, and then to register them directly with Starlink, they will be left on. Everybody else's Starlink, which is dark or unregistered in Ukraine and in occupied Ukraine under the Russian armed forces, will be switched off. Meaning the official Ukrainian army Starlinks will continue working, everything else not so much. And this should happen within a week. It's a massive blow for the Russians. Also a blow for Ukrainians who will not be able to register their Starlink. They will also lose connectivity, but Russians will all lose connectivity, which, I mean, this is big. And Russians don't like it at all. Ukraine's new defense minister already revolutionizing the battlefield. This is Russian group chatter. Mikhail Fedorov has launched a process to counter our attack drones in Ukraine using Starlinks, as well as combating the field of internet through the same Starlink. We are currently seeing a slowdown in the operation of Starlink terminals. As for our UAVs with terminals, they have become more vulnerable to enemy air defenses. Their speed has been reduced to 75 kilometers per hour. Yeah, so if they don't want their connection to be switched off, the drones will fly at 75 kilometers per hour, which makes them really slow and quite much more easier for Ukrainian air defense to shoot them down over any areas. It's a very slow target for air defense. It's also expected that Russian terminals will simply stop working, and here's why. No one can completely block just our terminals right now. There are many unregistered terminals on both our and the enemy's side in Ukraine. Therefore, shutting down all terminals with black flag would also mean cutting off Ukraine's internet connection. This is why they do their registration. Every brigade right now goes through the process of registering all their Starlinks, and there are some dark ones and unregistered ones. After they do that, they will switch off everything else in Ukraine that is unregistered. And only the brigade official ones will continue working, meaning Russians will lose connectivity. This hasn't happened in the last 4 years. Russians have had internet and connectivity on the front lines for the last 4 years thanks to Starlink. And of course, Russians are going so crazy, even Solovyov picked it up. I just want to watch for the end of this video. I mean, he's a funny man sometimes. Let's watch how he feels about this. Elon Musk taking a few steps towards Ukraine. Also, I'd like to draw your attention to the colossal love between Elon Musk and the scoundrel, murderer, thief, and Russophobe, Ukraine's current Minister of Defense. Damn, what labels! Fedorov, who I remind you calls for the killing of 50,000 Russians, and Musk is ready to provide him with all-round support by blocking certain features, for which, by the way, he receives money from Starlink. And here there should be no illusions. There is no Starlink as an independent company. When Musk was directly asked by why foreigners but only green card holders do not work in his structures, it was said in a number of projects. Okay, he goes on to yap about everything and everything. I'm gonna leave it here. I'm not gonna give you too much brain rot for Monday, because this is a Russian show. But yeah, Russians really mad about this because this is a massive need and capability that they haven't been able to fill, and Ukrainians haven't been able to fill. Starlink fills it. And Elon has not made these steps towards Ukrainians. He has not focused on shutting down the Russian Starlinks. But now, thanks to the new Ukrainian defense minister who works his magic on Elon, they have found an agreement and Russians will be going dark. People ask, what's the game changer in this war? What's the weapon system? There is no one weapon system that changes this war. But a big change comes from this Starlink. Shutting off for the Russians. Intelligence, connectivity, that's one of the major aspects you need to wield war successfully, and Russians will lose that. So it's not a game changer, but it's a big change. That was it, my friends, for the first video of February, first video Monday this week. I will see you again in 2 days on Wednesday. So be sure to subscribe, and until then, Slava Ukraini, and bye bye. Thank you, The Four, for sponsoring today's video.